Treasure? I hardly know her.
Yeah, that's rough.
Ooh, welcome to the swamp. It's our podcast. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
I'm so sorry about that. There just aren't really, this movie's not super quotable. I mean,
no.
By my memory. Having, like, a lot of nostalgia to it, a lot of, like, kids' movies that I'm super nostalgic about, I can, like, rip lines from. This isn't really a rippable movie.
No.
Like, he says something like, you know, you're gonna carve your own path and explode into the sun, or something like that.
Sure.
I mean, it was really moving. It was very touching.
Yeah.
But just the choice of words just didn't stick with me.
Yeah, kind of lost on me a little bit. I hardly remember this movie to begin with, so picking a quotable line was not going to happen for me today.
I know, I was kind of shocked. You said that this was one you, like, watched as a kid, but, like, you had never rewatched up until now?
Yes. I totally forgot that I had seen it, and there had been a handful of times that it had popped up, probably in chocolate or vanilla, in the last couple of years.
Because Jen, who it's her month, she's picking all of the movies this month, and she picked Treasure Planet. She was tied between this and Big Hero 6. She knew she wanted to make us do a Disney one, but she's like, I feel like you'll never do them on your own.
True.
So, like, she's like, I want to make you. And she's like, is it this or Big Hero 6? And I was like, well, Jen, you can pick. She's like, oh, I can't pick. You guys pick. So we're going to do this Treasure Planet here today, but then we're going to cover with Jen as a guest. We're going to do Big Hero 6 over on the Patreon. So if that tickles anyone's fancy, you can find the link in the description. It's $2.86. And sometime in this lovely month of February,
we will get that to you.
Yes. And I believe we are recording this on Jen's actual birthday. Because that's why we let her pick all of the movies this month.
You didn't even tell me. I didn't even. We were just on the phone with her. I had no idea. I didn't say happy birthday once.
I know, I'm the worst. But yeah, you said you hadn't rewatched it.
I hadn't rewatched it. I was getting my memory jogged the entire time as I was watching it. Once I saw who's the main character? What's his name again?
Jim Hawkins.
Jim. Yeah. Once I saw Jim on his hoverboard, that brought me right back. And then once I saw the little, like, blubbery guy, what's his name? Morph. Once I saw Morph, I was like, oh, okay, this is all coming back to me. And I definitely had, like, a Morph toy
from McDonald's.
Yeah.
Oh, I will tweet on our Twitter an exact picture of the Morph McDonald's toy. Because that had more of an impression on me than this movie did. I also had the McDonald's.
That was my bestie.
The McDonald's toy of the math ball, I remember.
I don't remember that.
It was like a little gold, like, puzzle ball, but it was just like, you could just, like, it was like a stim toy, basically, which was pretty awesome. But the Morph toy, it was like a bath toy. Yes. Like, I definitely, like, because it was, like, rubbery.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember it had a little hole in the bottom, and I would fill it up with water, and then I would squeeze it out, and, like, I would gnaw on his eyeballs, like, literal lead paint, like, nasty. But that Morph toy went through it.
Yeah. So I think there's more things, like, associated with this movie that I remember than the actual movie, because even after the first, like, 20 minutes or so, I was like, this doesn't even seem familiar to me.
Right? Once, like, Ben popped up, you're like, who? Who is that? I'm sorry. When?
Martin Short. What are you doing here?
In the third act. No, this movie and Atlantis are very, you know, they came out around the same time. They're very much linked together in my mind of, like, those movies I loved as a kid. And then I felt like I got a little older and I was like, nobody ever talks about these.
Not once.
And
they're fabulous.
It's a little more popular now, I would say, for people our age to, like, talk about them nostalgically. Yes. It's definitely more like the, like, quote unquote, like, forgotten era of Disney movies. And there is a little bit of lore that I could get into about just, like, the weird timing of this film.
Okay.
So the two directors, they wrote the screenplay and directed a ton of Disney films. Their names that I wrote down are John Musker and Ron Clements. They're a duo who screenwrote and directed The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Hercules.
Oh, banger.
And then this. And the whole situation was that they had done The Little Mermaid and then they, like, pitched this. They're like, we want to do a space pirates movie. And Disney was like, no. you can do Aladdin. And they were like, okay. And then they did Aladdin. And then they pitched the Space Pirates movie. And they're like, no, you can do Hercules. And then it got to the point where they were like sneaking behind producers' backs to go up the ladder to talk to like fucking Mr. Disney Jr. himself to be like, we're gonna fucking blow our caskets if we can't do the Space Pirates movie. And he's like, okay. He's like, if you sign this contract and you do Hercules, afterwards we'll think about the Space Pirates movie. And so they did Hercules, and I think everyone was like hoping that they would forget about it, but they were
not
like,
gonna happen.
They're like, this is like a decades-long passion project, and we want to do this
and
so
it shows.
bad. And so then they got there, and they cut them a fat fucking check for like more money than had ever been spent on an animated film
for Treasure Planet.
Fuck. Cut them the fattest check, and then in order to, I don't want to say politically, but like maneuver the transition from hand-drawn flat 2D animation to it's 2002, Shrek just took a fat fucking dump on Disney and just obliterated any, flat movie that they were going to put out, right? Yeah. And so they were like, oh, like Pixar had sort of just started to get the ball rolling. Yeah. They were really into this.
Yeah, she's giving them a run for her money.
This new 3D animation style. And so the, regular Disney Studios released Treasure Planet on the same day as Harry Potter.
Shit.
And it's the biggest box office flop that Disney Animation Studios has ever seen. I think they lost like $75 million.
Oh.
They didn't even come close to breaking even. This movie just complete box office flop and was then basically used as like a, hey, look, people don't like this shit. People don't like flat movies about adventure. They want round movies about toys. And so they basically use this as like a touch point to...
That's so sad, dude, because I thought the animation in this was beautiful.
It's wild. So it was actually the first movie that used 3 different like rendering. Yeah, so they did the flat hand-drawn stuff, which is mostly the characters. Yeah. And then they did use like CGI rendered stuff, which was like his like cyborg gear and stuff. And then there was like the fully modeled 3D elements where like a lot of the big shots of like the ships.
Yes, exactly. Stuff. And the background and the space.
Which did all 3 of those styles merge seamlessly? No.
Absolutely not, but I thought it was gorgeous the way they interacted.
It was a little clunky, but it was 2002. I think almost every movie looks a little clunky from then. And it is a little like uncanny valley of like, whoa, what the fuck? Like the space whales that are floating by just look like they're come from a completely different fucking film than the characters that are like watching them. So it's a little strange, but it's so many shots of this movie are so like oddly beautiful.
I love it. I mean, I love any sort of movie where animation interacts with a different style, even if it's animated to like
live action.
Yeah. That's always a fan fave. But I think seeing all 3 of those different styles interact was so interesting and so unique, and that's something that really stood out to me.
And then they never did it again.
Not once.
Yeah, and so it was around this time that the movies that they released, so it was basically the last handful of flat 2D animated movies that just squeaked out, that were basically too far along in production process to be cut without big financial losses, were this movie, Brother Bear, and The Emperor's New Groove, which were all 3, relatively speaking, not great box office.
No, bangers for us, though.
Yes. Yeah, like, nostalgically, some of the highest highs. Yeah. As far as Disney films.
I love The Emperor's New Groove. That is a fabulous movie.
But, like, objectively, financially, did not perform well.
I'm sure.
So it was just, those are the ones that, like, just made it. And then they were like, all right.
Pixar started raw dogging them.
They're like, we're putting all of the eggs in this basket over here. And so it's just, it's such a bummer that this, like, passion project, these 2 really phenomenal writer and directors, just was like eventually used to be this like thing, this gross like. But again, like I don't know, like why did people not go see it? Was it just the time it was released? Were people just not into like steampunk in 2002? You'd think they would.
I mean, it's the perfect time.
I almost would say that the one thing that I think maybe could have been, I don't know, it's not really edgy, right? Like the concept is kind of edgy. Space pirates.
Pretty dope.
Pretty fucking cool, right? But then when it comes down to brass tacks, it's a Disney movie.
Yeah.
They're doing like, I'm just a boy who's going on an adventure. Like it's very that. Whereas if this movie came out 5 years later and was released by DreamWorks, I think it would have had like some edgy jokes. Yes. Maybe some like more intense action sequences, like stuff like that. I think is just like, it is fundamentally, it's by the people who made Little Mermaid. Yeah. Of course, it's not going to be edgy. Like, yeah. Exactly. But I love it, and I have a very soft spot for it. It does pale in comparison just a little bit to Atlantis for me.
I was going to say, it very much falls into this strange category of like Atlantis, this Sinbad,
Road to El Dorado.
Yep.
Maybe Prince of Egypt.
I threw Prince of Egypt in there, but those are like a big 5 for me. And I think it's just because it's not a little princess,
and it's adventure, and it's not a musical.
Yep.
No one is singing.
Still some bangers.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Banger soundtrack.
Not in this one.
Not this
one. I would say, but
I'm thinking more
Road to El Dorado. Yeah. And even though those are not like all by the same studio or anything, they all they thematically feel
the same.
Yeah, same vibe.
Which those were my favorite movies as a kid.
Yeah,
is this sort of adventure, and that's why like Mulan would be top of my list for even like the Disney princess movies.
I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed this, because this is one that I definitely have revisited every couple of years, like as a comfort movie. This and Atlantis, I would say I swap out, on like a 3-year cycle of who gets the draw. Of just like a good Anastasia too, I'll throw in there, of like just another like animated kids movie that still hits me as an adult. Like it doesn't feel like too juvenile or childish. Like when I've watched The Little Mermaid as an adult, and I've been like, this is for babies. Like it's for babies.
It's for little babies.
I'm 25. Like I'm not a baby. I've grown up a little bit, and The Little Mermaid, that's for little kids. I'm a big kid. Whereas this one,
I'm a big kid. I like steampunk.
But this does like captures, my childlike sense of wonder, that I'm like, oh my god. Like,
yes, certainly.
Oh my god, now they're on the ship, and now they're flying through space on the ship.
Yeah.
The character design.
Fabulous.
Like,
loved it.
Every little side character just like has me nutting.
Yeah.
The guy
who's little guy.
The guy who's the head, and his hair is and then he's on the shoulders of the guy who's a separate guy.
It's fabulous.
So good.
Yeah. It's I love, and I think again that's also part of this sort of adventure kind of movie, is they have such a great cast of characters that are so well designed. I love a ensemble film.
And I always get annoyed when like non-voice actors, when nowadays an ensemble voice cast is like Chris Pratt and Anya Taylor-Joy. And I'm like,
kill yourself.
Fuck off. Like,
and I love Anya Taylor-Joy, don't get me wrong. I have no need to ever see that Mario movie.
No, it was bad. And even people like Jack Black, who are really animated with their voice.
Yeah, Charlie Day.
And them who I would put in voice acting roles, I'm like, fuck off. You're just putting this in so that adult men are like jerking off. Yeah. Because they're like, oh yeah, I love Charlie Day. Yeah, he's gonna be Luigi. Like literally fuck off.
Yeah.
But I will say I thought Joseph Gordon-Levitt does a really good job here.
Absolutely.
So good to the point where I actively am forgetting that he is the person voicing.
Yeah.
It gives me, they had John Cusack play Dimitri in Anastasia. And it's sort of that same, like, he was kind of like an it boy, sort of rising, like, film guy who they put in an animated movie. And it does kind of seem like it would be for the cash grab, but it's like, oh no, he kind of put his whole vocality into that.
Yeah, he went for it. So we talked a little bit about how all of these big adventure films sort of tie in for us. Can we also agree that beyond the concept, the design, it's also a group that feels very much akin to a sexual awakening for you as a child?
Oh, I immediately was like, she's gonna say that these movies are for gay people. That like gay kids liked these movies because they weren't about romance. And is that like a queer thing? I don't know, that I could like that it's easier to attach onto characters who their story is more about personal growth than it is about like finding true love.
I think that I just thought the Adventure Boys were hot as a kid.
Yeah, and also like gender envy a little bit.
Yes.
Like I was like,
the top cut with the little ponytail that Jim has.
Look at my hair right now.
I was gonna say Dara has rat tails.
I actively as an adult woman have 2 rat tails. Like he was so ahead of his time with that haircut, I will say. Mm-hmm. That was in 2002. I'm sorry. James Hawkins has T-boy swag. Like, that's...
For real, dude.
Like, he's giving me what Barry Keoghan has been giving me on red carpets as of late, which is like, that's a hot lesbian.
Yeah.
like nowadays...
Like, she wears the strap out in public.
Yeah. In 2024, like, a boy who has the James Hawkins haircut, red flag. Deep, harsh undercut center part with a little rat tail. No. You're going to get the worst dick of your life, and then he's going to, like... steal your tabby shoes and never talk to you again, right?
Maybe give you an STI.
If that's a woman, she's also going to emotionally abuse the shit out of you. But
she's gonna like
that dick is gonna be so fire. the James Hawkins haircut.
She'd talk you through it.
Yeah.
But like, it's very much like I'm thinking of at least Atlantis.
Oh yeah.
Both main characters. That's a bisexual awakening.
Yes.
Sinbad.
Oh, so horny.
Oh my god.
Yep. And Road to El Dorado.
Yeah. Even Prince of Egypt. Yep. It's all very hot. And you don't. It's not the same kind of hot where, like,
Jasmine's hot. Like, Jasmine's hot. But like, we're being told that she's hot. Mm-hmm. This is an exploration I get to have for myself.
Exactly.
Like Milo. Well, I'm like. They're not presenting him.
To be hot.
They're not presenting him as this like viable male option, but it's like yet something is stirring within me.
Yeah. But in 2024, if he was a real man, he'd be in the skate park, breaking his legs.
Yeah. I think every bisexual woman who like has a cishet boyfriend, they flip a coin, and these sides look very similar. Is that he's either Milo or he's James Hawkins.
Yep.
The only difference is whether he can skateboard. And it's like dark academia. Like they both have center parts and floppy hair and are like kind of gangly and skinny. Mm-hmm. And it's just like James Hawkins rides a skateboard and Milo can read. Those are your 2 options, basically. Is like how I feel. But I did really like there was no romance, at least for our protagonist.
Fabulous.
I mean, he's supposed to be 15. Supposed to be like a teenager with daddy issues, kind of navigating his way through.
Which again makes it very hot for like an 8-year-old girl watching this movie. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't remember this movie very much, but then suddenly watching this, I was like, I definitely loved this character as a kid, and it definitely stirred something a little bit in me.
We're like establishing some problematic patterns of like red flags that I'm like really into, like from a very young age. Like, he skateboards and he hates his dad. Oh my god.
Yeah, it definitely didn't pass the test of like single parent present in a Disney film, which is classic. Yeah. But I mean, I'm at least glad it was his father.
It's always the dead mom. Yeah, at least we had absent dad.
Yeah, exactly.
What a big win for the screenwriting community.
But like you said, there wasn't very much romance. I did like what they had going on. It was basically nothing. What I liked even more is that the character that was part of this romance was Emma Thompson.
Emma Thompson.
She ate this up.
Do you know what I learned pretty recently? There's this TikToker who's been doing a series about like celebrity couples who you may or may not have known like left or cheated on their spouses. Yes. And I knew that Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson were married and that she was like his muse for a while and that they had this like really, you know, obviously they're both like A-list celebrities at the time, like very public, and that he cheated on her with Helena Bonham Carter. He had this like long-winded affair with Helena Bonham Carter and left Emma Thompson in like, this is the destruction of their marriage. Yeah, I had no idea that this was like how that all went down.
Was this before or after Howard's End?
I don't, after, because I think that's when they got.
Okay.
I don't know though. But yeah, wild. I also learned about like Julia Roberts leaving Kiefer Sutherland at the altar, basically. Like, that was crazy. She called off their wedding the day before.
Oh my God.
And then just like ghosted him. Is that crazy? Yeah, I've been really into like celebrity breakups lately. And
that's crazy.
The Emma Thompson, Kenneth Branagh one really kind of shook me.
Oh, I had no idea.
Because they were like like, oh my God, they're so in love. Like, he's so obsessed with her. Uh-huh. Like, I don't know, even the man who's like so obsessed with his wife, like, look at John Mulaney. All he did was talk about how much he was obsessed with his wife, and then like that. No. So I
don't think anyone should ever be someone's muse. Honestly, that feels like a toxic relationship in itself. Yeah, let alone if it's like a marriage.
I was Josh Cassidy's muse when he were like I just finished her memoir.
You read it?
But no, I listened to it on audiobook because she narrates it. Yeah. And I love an author narrated like biography.
Was it fabulous?
It was so good. Yeah, she's amazing. And her life is so wild because she, grew up in New York City and like was a drug addict and was partying at like the age of 12. And yeah, so her whole memoir is like,
just like fuck shit.
Yeah, like fuck shit. Like she like moved back and forth between Italy and the United States a bunch of times, and she's like, and then I went to Italy to party, and then I got bored of it, so I went back to America to party. And yeah, she's awesome though. She's like very like, I don't know, authentic.
Yeah, well, she's also like a celebrity who like would give a home to her, and she lives in like a normal apartment. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is really fucking dope. Like she's just living her life, and she's not really trying to exploit any sort of notoriety that she's gotten. Like she's just trying to be a person.
No, she's one of the ones that I'm like, I believe like when things come out that they're shitty, I'm like, well, yeah, they're a celebrity. Like if it were to come out that Julia Fox is like a horrible person, I would actually be pretty shocked. Yeah, I'm like she seems pretty cool. At least having just her audiobook. But if you have a Spotify subscription now, you can listen to audiobooks for free.
Oh, really?
It's like I think it's like a limit of like you can only listen to like 2 hours a day. Oh. No, it's like, yeah, but so I'm like, I'm not going to listen. So I listened to the whole thing for free. Yeah.
That's fresh.
Yeah. Free audiobooks on Spotify. Check it out. Pretty cool.
Yeah. She's one that I'm keeping in my back pocket for a couple of years down the road. I'm going to be her for Halloween in like those really funky costumes that she had. So.
Yeah, she's awesome. She talks at the very end. She's like, yeah, people like call me trash, but you're all dressing like me. Yep. Like tabloids want to comment about like my relationship with Kanye West, but you're literally all dressed exactly like I was 6 months ago. So like, look at yourself. And I'm like, yes, girl.
She's a queen.
Yeah, she's very self-aware, and she's like, yeah, I'm a fucking icon. Like, and she's like, and I am the moment. I'm like, yes, girl.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Emma Thompson, yeah, in this movie, I would say that's about as close to a furry as I can like accept. Yeah, like, yeah, I do want to fuck her. And yeah, like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, am I a furry for that? You tell me. But
you know what? Whatever, fine.
I would say that it was kind of a cheap joke that her and what's his name, like Dr. Dilbert.
Yeah,
he's a dog and she's a cat, and they fall in love and have cat dog babies, like whatever.
But also, like, what do you expect from Disney? You know what I mean?
It was gonna be kind of cheap.
But that's where that's the thing where Disney and Pixar cross or split, because when they have cat dog babies in this, it's like all the girls are cats, all the boys are dogs.
It's very Miss Piggy and Kermit in A Christmas Carol. Yeah.
But when DreamWorks does it,
Shrek.
It's Shrek, and it's
the Donkey Dragon.
Yes, the merged Donkey Dragon babies.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So. Yeah, I wish that would have been better.
Absolutely.
Some fucked up little cat dog baby, or like cat dog, like they're attached in the middle, and it's a cat on one side.
I never liked that show as a kid.
Were you not into like Ren and Stimpy and like Courage the Cowardly Dog and stuff?
No, Courage freaked me out for plenty of obvious reasons. Yeah. Ren and Stimpy didn't do it for me either. Cat Dog was fine, but it wasn't like really my shit. I didn't watch a lot of Cartoon Network like that, like Ed, Edd and Eddie, or like what were the Skater Kids?
Codename Kids Next Door?
No, not them. It was this Skater. Yeah. Do you remember
Jake Long American Dragon? No, that was Disney.
No. I definitely watched a little bit of Ben 10 and all that shit.
Oh, and, I love Ben 10.
What's the...
Ben 10 is also giving T-Boy swag.
Yes, absolutely.
Can I say that? I don't know.
Well, like Ben 10 and who was the ghost guy?
Danny Phantom.
Danny Phantom.
That was Nickelodeon, but yeah.
Yeah, Nickelodeon.
Okay, Danny Phantom is trans. I'm not just gonna keep saying that these cartoon boys are trans, but Danny Phantom is actually trans. Like, I'll die on that hill. Like, we've been working up to it, and this is the one that I will say with my chest.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Or like, what was it? Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Yeah. That was more the Cartoon Network that I would watch, not the Ren and Stimpy kind of shit.
There's this movie coming out that's like directed or maybe written by John Krasinski. And it's called...
He's been pissing me off lately with all of his, like, Quiet Place adaptations. Shut up.
I'm kind of excited for the prequel that's coming out.
Well, that's your man.
And Lupita.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at least my ass will be sad. Like, we'll see.
Did you watch the second one?
No, because I didn't care. I was like, I don't care about this.
None of it matters.
The first one was, like, fine.
Yeah, sure.
But it's, like, different, I guess. I don't know. But he's coming out with this movie that's called, like, If. And it's, like, a kid's movie. And it's, like, imaginary friend. If. And it's about like all these imaginary friends who used to belong to kids, but now that the kids are grown up, they have nowhere to go.
It's
and it's
literally
these people
friends.
like creating a community for all of these. And I'm like, is this actually like, are you going to reference that it's this thing that already exists? Like, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends is literally already a piece of fiction that all of us are fucking aware of.
Yeah. So I'm like, very fond of. I loved that show.
Yes. But so I'm like, is this supposed to be like a spin-off or something? Or I'm like, or are they trying to brand this as an original idea?
They'll brand it as an original idea.
So I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
is it animated or?
It's like live action, but obviously the imaginary friends are like CGI. Yeah. And who is
that? Pisses me
I think
off.
It's like Paul Rudd or something.
He would.
It's I don't even.
That's really irritating to me. Yeah. I don't like that. Paul Rudd. But they truly don't make movies like this anymore.
Well, clearly not, because they were like, oh, look how much money it lost. Oh, clearly, yeah. Kids don't want to learn about adventure and the powers of found family.
That's all I want.
Yeah. I want a twinky little boy to just find himself while on a pirate ship.
Yeah. Ugh, God.
Jen coming in with movie pick number 3 during this month, Jen month. And guess who's here? It's Jen. Here to host our interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla, where she says 2 things. We all say which one we like better. A, Jen, how are you? B, is there a theme this week? And C, can you tell us a little bit about why you picked this movie?
Yes. So A, I am really good. I had today off. I had an extra long weekend. I took Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I'm pretty happy. Not looking forward to going back tomorrow, though. Like all that leftover stuff. And then B, there is a theme. It is a 3. It is a chocolate, vanilla, strawberry theme, and it's going to be a Disney movie versus a Pixar movie versus a DreamWorks movie.
Ooh. Okay.
Of course, all animated.
Of course.
And which segues perfectly into see why did I pick this. I love an animated movie. I can't help it. Treasure Planet I thought was like beautiful and different, and then they played the Goo Goo Dolls, and that's all I needed.
There you go.
Like, I was the target audience for this movie at this time, but like you were also the target audience. They're like, we're really gonna get the moms with this Goo Goo Dolls bit by playing the entire 4 minutes of this Goo Goo Dolls song smack in the middle of the film.
We're gonna play one song, but we're gonna play it end to end.
The moms are gonna love this in 2002.
I know. I'll listen later. But did you guys like it?
Yeah,
love.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is a childhood favorite for sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
I also
kind of
love
knew why you picked it, but I wanted.
Yeah, I love a retelling too. I just love anything like reimagined, you know. But I love original stuff probably better. But I don't know, the whole Treasure Island of it all I thought was cool. So chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
I'll go with chocolate.
Vanilla.
Yeah, I'll go strawberry. So first one is Lion King versus Toy Story versus Road to El Dorado.
Ooh, I love Road to El Dorado, but I do just objectively think Lion King is the best out of all 3 of those. Those are 3 great ones, but I think it's the Elton John factor that is really pushing it over the edge.
I am more of a Toy you said Toy Story, right? Yeah,
Yep.
I'm more of a Toy Story person, honestly. Lion King is good, and obviously the music. But I think I just remember enjoying the humor in Toy Story a bit more.
Yeah, I would watch any of these right now, but I will go with I'll go with Toy Story 2. Next one, Jungle Book versus Bugs Life versus Ants.
Cool, Bugs Life. I love Bugs Life. That's the reason, like, when boomers are like, why do young people today, like, so liberal, whatever, it's because we fucking watch Bugs Life, bro. We learned about communism from fucking bugs. That's why we're all like this.
Truly.
You wrote it. Like, what?
I don't really remember Bugs Life that well. I remember the ride better at Disney.
Yep.
So I'll go for Jungle Book on this one. I really loved the animation in that one for some reason.
Yeah, good music in that one too. Yeah. Also retelling, right?
Just based on a book.
Yeah. I will go with Bugs Life. I'm a big Bugs Life fan. Next one is Tarzan versus Monsters Inc. versus Spirit.
Oh, again, 3 fucking killers. But it's Tarzan because of Phil Collins. Like, all 3 of those are great movies, but then it's just like only one of those movies has Phil Collins.
Sorry, I blacked out after you said Tarzan. What were my other 2 options?
Monsters Inc. or Spirit.
Ooh. I'll go for Tarzan. I think I really enjoyed like the more jungly movies as well.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it scratched my brain a little bit more as a kid. So,
I'm gonna go with Tarzan. I just loved Tarzan. I was gonna say, so back to Treasure Planet though. Like if Treasure Planet was for the moms, Monsters Inc. was for the dads. The dads, I think.
Yeah, Randy Newman. Yeah,
the corny like humor of Monsters Inc. and stuff. That is one that Dad would watch with you guys, like no complaints.
Like all the jazz, like the jazz intro. That's like for the boys.
That's like you're like anyone's dad thinks that he could have been like a jazz saxophonist
even though
in another life.
Never picked up an instrument in his life.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, back to Treasure Planet 2, I do love a movie that has no love story in it. It's just, there
was a skosh, but it was mostly like a side thing used for like laughs, and then at the end they're like, look, they have babies, and like that was the end of it.
Yeah.
But like even then, that was totally
perfectly enough. Though.
Yeah, agreed.
Next one, Lilo and Stitch versus Finding Nemo versus Shrek.
I think I have to go Lilo and Stitch on this.
Yeah, you love Lilo and Stitch.
You do love.
I definitely. It's the Elvis. Honestly, Elvis was a bastard. And all of his music was stolen, but it still smacks.
Yeah, this one's hard for me. I will go with Shrek. We just watched Shrek last night, actually, the night before last. Yeah.
As a family, like fully in our Lord's
sat
year.
down.
In our Lord's year 2024, we sat our asses down and we watched Shrek.
And it was good. Next one, Atlantis versus Incredibles versus Sinbad.
I think on a lot of days I would say Atlantis, but I've been thinking about the Incredibles a lot lately. And that movie is so good. Like there was something in the water. Why has Brad Bird not come back to direct every single fucking Pixar movie since?
Doesn't make sense.
Like literally wild. Sometimes I think I should revisit and listen to our very first episode ever, which was about
that we did that.
Yeah, which was about the Incredibles.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I think I had way too much secondhand embarrassment. Like, because I'm like,
we had no idea what we were doing.
Like, I'm sure the audio quality is bad. I'm sure my opinions are awful. I'm sure I like embarrass myself every 15 seconds. Like, I'm pretty sure I was like, Emily, do you want to do a podcast with me? And you're like, yeah, sure. And then I turn on the mic and I'm like, so Elastigirl's pussy. What do we think? Like, how far? Like, no, I should not have. I mean, still to this day, I'd be acting up like that. So I can't say, but
I'd like to think that anything that would get me disqualified from a job interview is like buried under like the last year and a half.
But I'm pretty sure I said I wanted to like fuck a Muppet 2 weeks ago.
Probably.
Like I'm not. Yeah. I have not grown, changed, matured, or like evolved as a person.
Our audio quality is maybe just the slightest bit better.
Sorry, love all of you who've been here from day one. Really appreciate it. But yeah, I've been really thinking about The Incredibles a lot lately. That I want to rewatch it, and just that it's like really a pinnacle of family cinema.
Yeah, I love The Incredibles. That's one that I would rewatch all the time. And I think it still holds up. You could plop me down right in front of The Incredibles tonight, and I would be thrilled to watch it. So
I'm gonna go with Sinbad. We were just talking about the other night. Highly sexualized, but in all about the romance. But for some reason, I used to like Sinbad back in the day.
That one scene in Sinbad where she's like a big ghost lady and she's really sexy and she's that's really like
Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Like, did that like for some reason as a kid, that's like one of the first things that triggered me of like, I don't think that's supposed to be for my age group. Like, I remember being like, I don't think that this is appropriate. Like, I remember being so young, being like, this seems kind of horny. Like when he's on the eyeball, when they're like on the eyeball and they're like, that's another really.
I honestly don't remember what you're talking about right now.
But Dara, you gotta pause for 1 sec. Ryan's calling me. What's up, Ryan? Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Sinbad's another one, though, that I remember watching a good chunk of as a kid, but all of my memory of it has kind of dissipated over time.
Mm-hmm. And if I put it on, it would like unlock.
Exactly. Which was very much this movie. So.
Yeah, I like a piratey swashbuckling adventure, so I'm going to go with Sinbad for sure.
Swashbuckling adventure.
Like Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
Next one is Mulan versus Cars versus Boss Baby.
Mulan. Yeah, you could not have picked two bigger flops.
I know.
Compare Mulan to.
Yeah, you said Mulan too, obviously, right? Yeah, of course, Mulan for the sweep. Next one is Tangled versus Brave versus Shark Tale.
Yeah, I'm picking Shark Tale. Those are two. I think Brave and Tangled are two that I had just sort of aged out of liking Disney, and it wasn't really like, I'll watch a Disney movie now because I'm like, I don't give a fuck. But it's like when you're like 14, you're like, ew, this is for babies.
I'm too cool.
Like it just didn't capture me, and it's not ones that I've ever like when I revisit them when I'm older, I'm like, it's not so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tangled. I like Tangled. I like Mandy Moore though a lot. Next one is Alice in Wonderland versus Coco versus Prince of Egypt.
I was waiting for you to throw Prince of Egypt in.
Erin loved that one.
I feel like I'm going to be problematic and I'm going to pick Alice in Wonderland just because I was one of those girls
I was going to say
who had a phase where I read the original book a lot and definitely was really into the Tim Burton one, and I definitely had an Alice in Wonderland themed birthday party and all of that jazz. That was definitely a key identity touch point between the ages of 10 and 13 for me.
Yeah.
So gotta pick Alice in Wonderland.
That makes sense. I gotta go Prince of Egypt on this one. Yeah. That is a heater of a movie.
That movie slaps.
Yeah, me too. I'm going Prince of Egypt.
Oh, the songs.
Oh, God. Next one. Moana versus Onward versus Kung Fu Panda.
Onward sucked. Kung Fu Panda is fine, but why are they making the 97th installation of that series? We could have let it go. And Moana was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I love Moana.
Yeah. I do gotta give it to Lin-Manuel Miranda. He does write some good music.
Yeah, cringe as he may be, sometimes he is in the pocket.
Our claim to fame is that Ali, how do you say her last name?
Oh,
Cuevo.
I
don't know.
The girl who voices Moana liked one of our Instagram reels, and literally I was piss was dripping down my leg. I was so excited.
She's in Mean Girls too.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, Moana. Tara, are you drinking out of the Mystery Machine?
Yes.
It's the most unfunctional mug I've ever seen in my life.
I have been to your house a million times. I've never seen that mug.
I got it for Christmas this year.
I love it.
It's so really unwieldy and kind of like not easy to drink from. But it's huge. It's massive. Yeah. I can drink like 2 solid cups of coffee at the same time.
It looks like if you go to drink it too fast, it's just gonna slip out the sides and down your face and shirt.
Are you drinking coffee or tea?
Tea.
Nice. Next one is Frozen versus Soul versus Flushed Away.
Flushed Away.
Easy.
Flushed Away. That movie, why has it been like lost in the sands of time? Of that, just like I feel like nobody talks about it. The slugs, the singing slugs in that movie, so good. Also, I just like Frozen. No,
not for me.
Soul. Also, I was like, are you for real right now? This is a kids movie. It was like about a depressed adult man, and that was the whole plot of the movie. Like,
agreed. Not good.
Yeah, not I gotta go for Flushed Away on this one. That's Maddie Healy.
I'm just gonna go Flushed Away also. Next one, Wreck-It Ralph versus Luca versus Madagascar.
I feel like I always found Madagascar kind of annoying as a kid. I think specifically just because they released those songs that were like polka dot Afro circus, and everyone would like sing it, and it was really annoying. Or like I like to move it. Every single Madagascar movie had like an annoying.
Yeah, but you loved it as a kid, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I just like have this vision of like all the kids on the bus like screaming that, me being like, "You shut the fuck up! It's 6 a.m." That's fair. Like, Jesus. But I feel like I have to pick it because Noah Baumbach wrote those movies, and that's hilarious to me. And I didn't see Luca, and then what even was my first option?
Wreck-It Ralph.
And it's just so I'll pick Madagascar, but begrudgingly.
I'll pick Madagascar. I remember that fondly from my childhood. I love the penguins.
I am going to pick Luca because I watched it and I liked it. Sidebar though on Madagascar. Speaking of Chris Rock, so I just watched that movie Rustin because of the Best Actor nominee, whose name is
Coleman Domingo.
Thank you. And Chris Rock was actually really good in it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's not. I thought he did a good job. He had a very small role.
Is he problematic? Yeah, I'm like pulling from my memory bank. Like, has he just said stuff, or has he actually done something like a violent?
It would shock me if he did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he just got slapped. Right? That's it.
No, he definitely has said some like problematic shit.
Yeah,
sure.
he's made like jokes, but
and trying to be
any
funny.
Like male comedian over the age of 40 at this point has like definitely said something. So
okay.
Yeah,
very never apologize.
Yeah, like extremely offensive.
Yeah.
I take it back, man. He was crap in that movie. Last one. Chicken Little, WALL-E, Chicken Run.
I hated WALL-E. As an adult, I've watched it again and I've been like, this is fine. But as a kid, for some reason, I fucking hated WALL-E. Like, I think, did we walk out of the theater during WALL-E? I think
it was not a big favorite of ours, that's for sure. It's, I don't know, too slow or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I hate the environment.
I never saw it.
But Chicken Little, Zach Braff. You know, they had Zach Braff there. And what even was my third option?
Chicken Run.
Isn't that the claymation?
It is claymation. Yeah. I was never really into like the Wallace and Gromit type claymation as a kid. Like that really
scared bitches. Alyssa's terrified of those two.
I mean more like Shaun the Sheep, I think, is like when I started like sort of appreciating it. But I was never really like a Chicken Run girly. So I'll pick Chicken Little for Zach Braff.
I guess I'll pick Chicken Little as well. I know I've seen it. Doesn't stick out to me, but it's more notable in my brain than the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same. We liked Chicken Little back in the day. Like, didn't love it, but definitely liked it. And that is it for my animated Disney versus Pixar versus DreamWorks.
Fabulous.
Was anyone tallying what won across the board? I feel like I want to guess that DreamWorks won, but who's to say?
Oh, good question.
Couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you what I.
Yeah,
my opinions have actually changed since the beginning of our conversation. We run this back, and I picked totally different things. Like, But Jen, as always, thank you so much for being here. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. I love you guys. Have an awesome night.
Bye.
Bye.
You know, the thing that really did it for me in this movie, like with the animation, there was a lot that really scratched my brain, but the way that I just wanted to dive into the pile of riches that they found at the end, so bad. I just want to roll around in it and writhe around on it.
It's one of those things, it's like the same way that I want to eat wet cement.
Exactly.
It's like I know, in my brain, I know it's going to be bad. But in theory, diving into those coins, I would dive head first. I would get a concussion.
I'd break my neck.
I'd snap my neck. But it's like, I still am going to like think
I'm gonna give it a go.
I'm going to think about eating the concrete. Like I am going to entertain that fantasy.
The thing that I really realized about this movie is that I felt like it was a really good way to get kids interested in space and to get kids kind of engaged with this outside of the movie. And that's one thing that I feel like we don't really do for kids anymore. You know what I mean? Like watching Prince of Egypt, that would have kicked off my Egyptology phase.
Yes.
I was probably fixated on space for a minute after watching it. You know what I mean? I don't know that because there's obviously so many other factors at play, like the internet, and social media and stuff like that. But I feel like movies don't aim to get kids like interested
in like science and history and stuff.
Yes.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. I think rather than space, I think this movie would have itched my brain about like pirate lore. Because this is based on Treasure Island, obviously, which I definitely think I had like an abridged version for kids growing up. I don't recall any like major plot points about that, but I think that this, definitely would have been more about like pirate shit. Because all the space stuff, while very cool, was like highly fictionalized.
Oh,
it was very much like I loved the crescent moon.
Oh
was
my
the
god!
City.
Don't get me started.
Do not look at me in the eyes and tell me that the animation in this movie is not good. Because look at that fucking crescent moon city.
I was writhing around on the ground looking at it.
I was stroking out. Actually.
Oh my god!
So
that's again another thing that really struck me from my childhood, remembering that when I saw it. And I was like, oh, it's even better.
I have a question about, like, I loved the cyborg animation.
Yes.
I thought he was a great villain.
He had dimensions other than just like, oh, he's a shitty pirate.
Yes. And
he's got a heart of gold.
Disney does have a good villain history. I think Disney, older, and maybe they're just nostalgic to me, but a lot of really good villains that are sometimes the saving grace of a not so great Disney movie. But this one kind of hit me where I've been noticing recently, like a thing I really like, especially in TV shows, is like the villain that gets introduced, but then you sort of start to like fuck with them, like not because they're good, because they are still fundamentally evil, but like they're so intriguing and the decisions they make are so interesting to you that you're like, oh, I don't want them to like get killed off or like get defeated because I'm like so fucking with this villain. And then they introduce an even worse villain.
Yeah.
Who is also morally deplorable, but is also just like not chill. Yeah. And you're like, oh, and now we can all team up. And that to me was like the big like scorpion guy who was kind of sexy. I'm not gonna lie.
Would you let him hit?
Like that character design was doing something for me. His little fangs. I don't know. But that's what I love is like you do the villain who, yes, he is like he's bad. He's the bad guy. But then it's like, oh, but there's a worse guy.
You know what this reminds me of?
I can redirect my hate.
Yeah. This is like Republicans.
Yeah. We're going to redirect our energy to the really awful guy.
Exactly.
And that's why we vote blue no matter who. No, that's actually not true anymore. Because now people who are blue are
they're also horrible.
Funding genocide. So I don't really know about that one. But I was going to ask you, I loved this villain. I loved his character design. Was he supposed to be like a dog? Because I know like Dr. Dilbert was like a dog guy.
I don't think so.
Was he supposed to be, because he had like little ears. Was he supposed to be
Why did I not catch on to that?
I mean, he was also like wearing a hat a lot of the time. But because I was like, is that just like a fucked up looking man? Or is he supposed to be like an alien, like humanoid? I don't know.
I don't know. And I don't think I really need to know. You know what I mean? But I would like to think that it was more like that he was some sort of weird ass humanoid, but definitely not as doggish as Dr. Dilbert.
But more like Dr. Dilbert is like a Cocker Spaniel, and this guy is like a
Rottweiler.
Yeah, or like a couple of different breeds.
Yeah. He's a mutt.
Yeah. But I wanted to ask you, if you could have any like tool as a physical installation in your body, like if you were to cyborg out something, what would you want? Because and we're talking 2024, so you can have like a phone charger like as a tail or something. Or like
I feel like we've talked about this before. Do I only get one?
You can have a few. I definitely want like a lemon juicer in the crook of my elbow.
I like that.
I want to be able to just juice or like crack a nut or something. Just like two steel plates right here, so I can just crank out some fruit juice. That would be pretty sweet.
Obviously, like if my arm could detach, his kind of did this, but it like pulls out and then it flips, so I get dual things. Cool. Obviously, first thing that comes to mind, Hitachi wand.
Yeah. It's actually just built on the inside. So I just have to like do one Kegel to turn it on, and then we're actually just all set. It's like, damn girl, you got that gorilla grip. I'm like, yeah, it's mechanical.
I don't know, actually.
Because I remember as a kid loving the scene where he makes the stew, and he's using all of his like tools in his hand as like cooking. You know, he's got knives and he's got like skewers and he's putting everything together. And I always just remember being like, oh, that'd be fucking sick to just have like a paring knife as your thumb.
No, exactly.
That'd be sick.
That would be super dope. You know what I want? Those mechanical like salt and pepper shakers that you just like exactly. Someone's dad has on the Blackstone grill outside. You know what I mean?
Ooh, like a flat top grill on my back, so I can lay down flat and people can rock some pancakes or like some hibachi. Like it's like those like naked girls and you can like eat the sushi off like the naked girl's body, but it's like I'm naked and you get to cook hibachi on the flat top. What is it, like a Coleman grill? Yeah, like on my fucking spine.
Yeah, I mean, you could be like TV Barbie, who has the TV in her back as well. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There's plenty you could do.
Then I couldn't watch.
Yeah, exactly. Not ideal.
I was gonna say like have my iPhone on my hand.
You know what I would want? I would want a projector from my nipple.
So I can lay down in bed and then watch a movie on the ceiling, no matter where the fuck I am. Exactly. That would be sick.
Yeah. So something along those lines.
Yeah, it's giving very like Go-Go Gadget, you know, like Go-Go Gadget. My middle finger's a lighter, like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely something like kind of a party trick. So it's less of like you're an abomination to nature and more like, look, I can squeeze a lime in the crook of my elbow.
Yeah, I won't be telling everyone about the Hitachi.
You detach your kneecap and your whole bottom half of your leg is just like it's like hidden inside like an Easter egg.
You know what would be really, really useful to me though is if I had like one of those soda streams somewhere in my body. Oh,
yeah, in your throat. Actually, just in your mouth, so it just goes down your throat. You don't even have to drink. I have metal plates in my face now, and I was at the airport, and they were like, "Do you have any metal in your body?" And I was like, "Yeah, in my face." And they were like, "No, not like that." And I was like, "Oh, okay, sorry. I guess my hardware is not as big of a deal as a knee replacement."
I'll go fuck myself.
Except TSA going to an international country is so much chiller than domestic travel within America. Even
crazy.
Flying 2 hours in America, they're like, we have to actually strip you down and do an anal cavity search. Flying abroad, they're like, oh, you can just get on the plane.
Oh yeah, I have not had like such a smooth time,
pleasant
getting out of Copenhagen.
Yeah, Denmark. Actually, they did swab my body. So getting into Denmark was super easy. Coming home, they like swabbed me and they're like, "Do you work in a facility with dangerous chemicals?" And I was like, "No." And they were like, "Okay, well, you got flagged for like dangerous substances. so can we just like, we're going to have to do a full swab. So they like swabbed my skin and my clothes and they're like, it's still coming back positive, but you don't seem like a danger. So it might just be a mistake. But literally twice it came back as
That's
like
so crazy.
Detecting dangerous like trace elements on me. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? What the fuck is wrong? I like had a crazy cocktail the night before. I was sweating out through my skin. They're like, that's edible glitter coming out of her pores. Like, something's not right.
Why is she glowing? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was whack as hell though.
Yeah, that is pretty bad.
I'll say my last sort of controversial opinion, although I do love this movie, this watch around, I was sort of feeling like the Dr. Dilbert character and the Ben character, I'd combine them, right?
Yeah.
There was no need to bring in like a zany, neurotic guy again, right, for the second time. I was just like, we don't need some, like, if you combine them together and just give the original, like, doctor, founder of the mission sort of thing, give him some sort of incentive of, like, something he needs to find. Like, be like, oh, maybe he's a robot, and, like, the part of my brain that deals with XYZ is missing. Like, rather than him be like, I'm so zany and I cannot remember a thing. Like, have him be like, oh, and they say it's in the treasure or something. You know what I mean? And then just combine those two guys together so you still get some comedic relief. And you add like a motive. Because his motive to go was just that he thought it would be chill. Yeah. He's like, I just want to do this. And like, you just don't seem like the kind of guy who would want to do that. And he's so like neurotic and anxious the whole time that you're like, I just don't understand your motive.
Yeah, it's not making sense
for this. So I would rather, and then Ben pops up and he's just kind of annoying and not quite funny enough. Yeah. It's like, it's the Martin Short event that really sells it for me. But I'm like, yes, this is doing something, but it's objectively no better or worse than the neurotic Dilbert character in the beginning. That I'm like, we could have just gotten these two together in some sort of dog robot hybrid doctor scientist guy who's looking for something. Like, I don't know. That was kind of pissing me off.
Yeah. Do we want to get into our regularly scheduled programming?
Yes. My answers are kind of shitty this week. But I feel like for Fuck, Marry, Killed, we just want to flat across the board go with anyone on the boat except for Jim because he's a child. Yeah. Because I feel like there aren't really any like main characters per se. Because I feel like we've got Dilbert and we've got the two captains and we've got.
I'm gonna fuck the rock captain.
The rock one who dies. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck him.
Hot.
And then I'm gonna marry the captain.
Ribbed for her pleasure.
Yes. And then I'm gonna kill Dilbert. He pisses me off.
Fuck him.
Yeah. That's the kind of guy that would say that women aren't funny. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Except I feel like him and Emma Thompson have like an asexual dom-sub relationship, right? They only fucked once to procreate, and otherwise it's just her being mean to him and him being super into it. Yeah, I do like that. That's where men should be.
Yeah. What about you?
Can I fuck more? Because like,
I mean, it would be
he can be anyone.
He gives a baby vibe,
he is a baby.
Though. Yeah, Morph is a baby.
And he was my bath boy at age 4, so maybe that's
you are chewing on him.
That's not okay. Hey, who's not to say I'm not chewing on them now? Like, but
you don't want him for sexual pleasure. You just want him for like stimulus.
Yeah, I just want to chew on his rubbery little body.
You love it though. That's the thing.
Stim toy Morph. I would say Morph is like the blueprint for the Minions.
Truly.
Like a post-verbal, funny little assistant guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna do something cute.
Honestly, yeah.
He's truly the OG.
I like that comparison.
All Minions should actually have to give some money to these two fucking directors who are doing fine, actually. I think they wrote Moana. I think they wrote Princess and the Frog. They've since done some Disney slappers, but
it just sucks that their passion project
like fucking tanked. Yeah. You had really good answers. I'm gonna be controversial. I'm gonna fuck the Scorpion guy. That was doing something for me. I think I'm gonna marry the Cyborg guy, and we're gonna like depart on a we're gonna be like
across the galaxy.
We're gonna be like surrogate parents to Jim Hawkins, but we're like absent surrogate parents. Like we'll pop in. He becomes a cop at the end. That wasn't super chill to me. And he got rid of the rat tails at the police academy.
Hate it.
So I'm like, I'm maybe disowning you as a surrogate child. me and my cyborg husband who can cook with his arm are just going to have some like fun silly little side adventures because he is truly morally correct. You know, he's objectively not a bad guy. He just likes to have fun.
Exactly.
And I love that.
Yeah. I'm mad about it.
And then I'm gonna kill. He's not on the boat, but can I kill James's dad who abandons their family?
I guess.
I'm gonna fucking kill him.
Yeah, he's on a boat.
I want to kill him in front of James to even strengthen the daddy issue.
God. And what would you serve while watching this movie?
So pretty lame. I felt like you could do like a sheet of Jello shots of like strawberry Jello and whatever liquor is like easiest, and you make it in like a sheet tray, and then you cut them so you not like in a cup, but you have like weird little gelatinous cube shots. Could be kind of fun for more. Okay. But I also kind of
because you want to chew on it.
But I also kind of hate Jello shots. So I figured the next closest thing was like a jam jar cocktail.
Love a jam jar cocktail.
Yeah, like at the very end of whatever sort of preserve that you have, instead of throwing it out, you just use that jar as your shaker. So you get all the little remnants of the jam as your sweetener, basically, and you can just put, whatever sort of liquor and soda combo you want in there. It's pretty good. And then the only thing I could think of was like those gold coin candies, which it's because I want to like dive into them and I feel it, but those kind of always sucked. I feel
I liked them because they were bad.
They always like tasted kind of plastic.
Yeah, they're pretty shitty, but I still liked them.
I really did not like them, but I couldn't come up with anything. I was trying to think of something that was like new yet old, spacey yet piratey, but it's just like,
yeah.
What about you?
I found a recipe for an old Cuban because for some reason the color orange really stuck out for me, and it's pirate, so it's rum. I think it's the orange of the sails, which were really like fun, like rendered in a good way.
Yeah, like the texture.
Yes. So it's an old Cuban, which is, it looks kind of orange when you make it, but it's lime, mint, dark rum, simple syrup, topped with sparkling wine.
Slay.
Yeah. And then I think you do fish and chips because it's pirates.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I love that.
It's
been a long time since I've had a fish and chip. I love a fried seafood. I don't really fuck with seafood, but if it's deep fried, give it to me.
I love
give
it.
A fuck. It would give me anything that's deep fried, and I would probably eat it.
Yeah,
because I'm nasty.
And then after this, I'm just gonna go for another early 2000s OG classic pirate movie, and I'm gonna say Pirates of the Caribbean.
That's really good. I similarly Muppet Treasure Island.
Good call.
It's Treasure Island, but this time it's Muppets. I would also say a soft other pick would be National Treasure.
Yeah.
A good treasure hunting movie from my childhood that just really sort of, I don't know, maybe like has a cult online following today, but didn't necessarily rock the boat when it came out.
I'd say that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but
what are you gonna rate this movie? I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I think I looked at my Letterboxd. I think I give this movie 4 stars on Letterboxd, which is crazy.
It's nostalgia.
I don't do that for anything. Which I do think objectively I would lower that, but I'll stick to my guns. But I'm gonna give it a 7. A couple of nostalgia points, but I do just think that this is like an interesting case study of a really specific point in time in animation history. And
absolutely, you're totally right.
I don't closely follow the like what is the Disney Renaissance and who was the CEO at certain points. Like I know at one point in time, I think around this time, like whoever became the CEO of Disney, like fully cut any sequels or TV shows. Like fully was just like any of it cut, done. Like really, it's usually budgeting stuff. Yeah. But yeah, just like, I don't know, an interesting time that these two really reputable and clearly very good at their job directors were like, we really want to do this thing. And then they're like, we're going to make an example of you. You should not have passion. And you should not pitch your ideas more than once. When we tell you no, you should shut the fuck up. Yeah. Like, which is crazy. But, I'm sure John and Ron are doing fine.
Yeah, I'm not worried about them.
And next week, I'm going to tease it already. We're hitting you with Grease next week. I'm so excited. Sandy! It's so fucking too much. Thank you, Jen, for that. And next week, we'll be hitting you with Grease. Thank you to Jen, again, for picking all the movies this month. And hit up our Patreon if you want to listen to us talk about Big Hero 6 sometime coming soon. We're going to be covering that. And next month, obviously, we're going to be talking about the Oscars, both here on the main feed and on the Patreon, most likely. I've got so many hot takes, snubs, big thoughts as this award season continues to progress. It's just, I just saw the Iron Claw, and baby, do I have some fucking opinions on that. Yeah. I've been like watching more snub movies than I have actual nominated movies, which I'm like, ooh, I should get on track and like go see Anatomy of a Fall. But I'm like, wait, but what if I go see the Iron Claw instead?
Good call.
Yeah, so good. But yeah, we'll be talking about Oscar opinions. Send us in your Oscars hot takes. Please. I want to hear your hottest take about award season. It can be this award season, or it can just be like a general thought about, because the Academy fucking sucks. Like I love to watch the Oscars because I fucking hate it. Yeah, I love to hate watch. I love to be a hater. Yeah. And as always, we aren't really decided what we're going to do next month. So please send us in your movie suggestions, theme ideas, chocolate or vanilla ideas, just movies you think we would like. We love to hear from you. As always, links in the description. Please leave us star reviews if you feel so inclined. That's like helpful.
There's a lot of help
to us. I don't really, algorithmically or fucking whatever. I try my fucking hardest, and yet here we are. So if you could tap that thing and just put in, tell me your hot take in your review. I don't know. Yeah. If you were to put your movie suggestion in the caption of a 5-star review, I would actually be way more inclined. I would bump that like way up higher on our list. Not to bribe you. Not to bribe you, but I am saying that would earn you some points with me. And as always, we love you. Thank you for listening, and goodbye and good night.